cases, you're also playing a role in administering the entire court system for the entire state of Michigan.
What is the difference between a state Supreme Court justice and the U.S. Supreme Court justice?
Very good. So the state Supreme Court justice, basically, for all intents and purposes, we interpret the state constitution. So we are the court, as what they would say, last resort, as it pertains to interpreting our state's constitution and how the Constitution is ultimately interpreted. So we interpret state law. Now, what the U.S. Supreme Court does is they interpret federal law. Now, we also will get into some federal questions and some federal law, but for the most part, we are responsible for interpreting the state constitution as it applies to state law and the imposition of state law. So ultimately, when the state house or state senate or the governor does something, it's up to the state Supreme Court to interpret the level and nature of constitutionality as it pertains to the state constitution for all actions taken by the governor or taken by the legislature. Whereas the U.S. Supreme Court would do that on the federal level, so they would do that for the U.S. Congress or the U.S. Executive. So the main distinction is that we deal with state law, the U.S. Supreme Court will deal with federal law and the interpretation of the federal Constitution.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Is your post a lifetime position?
It is an 8-year position. So the way that it works here in Michigan is that Supreme Court justices for the state have to stand for election every 8 years. So I was just recently elected in November, and what will happen is that my term will last for an 8-year period of time, and after that 8 years, it's my hope to run again, and it's also my hope that the citizens of the state of Michigan will provide me the opportunity to continue to serve in this position. So it's elected by the entire state of Michigan, and the terms last for 8 years.
So you have the opportunity to run for 2 elections for a period of 8 years each.
Indeed, but what ultimately the law says is that you have an 8-year term, and what's nice is that you're allowed to run for as many terms as you would like, up or until the age of 70. So what's actually interesting is that my 70th birthday is actually a couple days after the November election of my, is after my 69th birthday. So what's nice is that I'll be able to run at the age of 69 because my 70th birthday won't come until a number of days after the election. So you can serve until you're 70. But for me, what's nice is because my birthday is a few days after my 70th birthday, the election is, I'll be able to run before. So as long as you're 69 at the time of election, you can run for another term.
So you got lucky.
I did. So that means I can serve till I'm 76 because I'll be able to serve for that extra 7 years because November 9th is my birthday for my 70th birthday, and the election is, I think, November 4th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
hopefully I'll be able to serve for a long time if the voters provide me that opportunity and allow me to have that chance.
So are there any aspects to the job of justice that will be impossible for you?
No, not that I foresee. And I think that, at the end of the day, I think that that's a really good question because really, I really believe that nothing's impossible. I think that the only thing a blind person really can't do is drive a car. And I think with the level of technology and sophistication that you're seeing, I think even that will be remedied. I think at the end of the day, what makes life so unique and so wonderful and so exciting, especially for high school students like yourself, is that you really are limited by nothing. You have such an exciting world to look forward to. You have such wonderful futures to look forward to. So whether this is a blind person you're asking this question of or anybody, I think what is exciting is that the world holds so many great opportunities. There are so many great things to look forward to. You know, you being a high school student, what I want you to think about is that upon graduation, there is so much about life that you should be excited about. You are going to do things and experience things that you never thought possible. And even with all the challenges and the hardships and the difficulties that currently exist in the world, what you should always know is that you are living in the greatest time ever because you are limited by nothing. You are going to travel to exciting places. You are going to meet incredible people. And you are going to have experiences that you can't even begin to fathom. But the only thing that I would hope that you would take with you from our talk today is that you should be excited, you should be enthusiastic, and you should be incredibly optimistic about the world that you're going to create and about the world that you are going to be a part of.
Thanks. That is very inspiring coming from you, knowing that the world is open to anything.
It's open, and we have all these great people here in the library today, and they should just know that the world is open to them with such excitement, and that the way the world is now and the way that you're experiencing it now, and I have to confess, for me, high school and middle school was a very difficult time. Being, the only blind person kind of in my school, being the person that always stood out, I didn't really fit in. I really struggled. I had a really hard time growing up in being the different person. I had a hard time kind of finding my place and trying to figure out kind of who I was. And I realized that people when they're in high school and people when they're in middle school are going through those same challenges. You're struggling to try to find your place. You're struggling to figure out where it is you fit in. I imagine this school is like the school I attended, where you have a social hierarchy that everybody tends to follow. And I just think it's important to know that the way that you are in high school or the way that you are in middle school is in no way a reflection of how you're going to be upon graduation. When you go on to college and you go on to the workforce and you move forward into the world, however you are in high school, and if you were like me, really struggling to find your place and not fitting in and just constantly wondering if this was all there was, I can make every one of you a promise. You have no idea how much better it gets. And you have no idea what you can look forward to. But just know that no matter how hard or difficult it might be for you right now, I can promise each and every one of you, things only get better. They only get better. You just have to stick with it, keep going, and what you will find as you move forward is you will find that you will experience a world and a life that you never thought possible. You're going to travel to places, you're going to do things you can't even envision now. So if you're going through a hard time like me and you're trying to fit in, just know there's so much more to life once you graduate and once you have a chance to become introduced to the world in all of its splendor.
So what are some of your goals as Supreme Court Justice, and how do you want to have an effect on the community?
Well, I think when you come on to the Supreme Court, I'm coming on as a junior justice. And I think it goes for anything, is that when you come on as like a junior justice, I had the opportunity to serve on the Board of Governors at Wayne State. And, it actually was the same kind of time period. I was on the Wayne State University Board of Governors for 8 years. And I remember when I came on to the Board of Governors, there was so much to learn about the university and how it operated and how it functioned. And I really felt that the best way to approach it was to start by learning, to start by getting to know the folks, to start by talking to deans and to faculty and to different folks throughout the university community. And what you find is that over time, you start to become more comfortable with the position. So going on to the Board of Governors at Wayne State as a junior justice, it took some time to just learn the system, to learn how things operated, to learn how things function. And then over time, as you start to gain the respect of the other governors and of the people within the university community, you start to gain more responsibility. And over time, I had the chance to become the vice chair of the Board of Governors, and then ultimately I had the opportunity to serve as the chair of the Board of Governors. And so I think it's important to use the same model on the Supreme Court, where you come onto the bench and you come on as a junior justice. And I think for that transitional period, I think it's important to learn from the other justices. I think it's important to learn from other justices. I think it's important to listen to folks and to learn from folks and to become very acquainted with the position. And it's my hope to be there for a very long time. So as I get there as a junior justice, I look forward to, and that's the one great thing about being blind, is that blind people are good listeners. I look forward to learning. I look forward to listening. I look forward to having a better appreciation and understanding of people and the issues that people are faced with. And I hope to use that knowledge and that awareness to really do the best job I possibly can. Because you know what? When people vote for you, they're giving you their trust. They're telling you that they trust you. When someone gives you their trust, you have to always honor it.